What's up, y'all? It's your boy Karceno here. Let's talk about it. Welcome. Y'all miss me? Sorry, there's no beautiful blondes and brunettes around me today. Well, I'm glad you got your notifications. Now, I watched all the pieces of the interview. I watched the full interview, and there's pieces here and there. But this was the most candid interview Floyd Mayweather has done since he did an interview with me. No. What do you keep talking about power leak? Is it on Stars or something? What are you talking about? No problem. Whoever said they apologize, I don't even remember how you came at me yesterday. All the rest of the episodes are on the internet already? On where? Send me a link. I need to be watching Power. I'll shut this whole stream down. Where? Don't tell me that. Where? Oh, no. But let's get back to why we're here. Let's talk about the Floyd Mayweather interview you guys have just heard yesterday. And let's elaborate and build from there. Now, the Floyd Mayweather interview, when he sat down, you got, Stephen A. Smith is going to do what he does. He's just, I feel like the shoulder roll, that's kind of like a fixed fight. Because there's no way you can land a punch on the shoulder roll. I don't understand. I like how he gets candid, like he's really in depth. That's talent when he does it that way. I really don't understand. How do you feel? You feel that you owe the fans something. He sound like that old groovy radio DJ, like Wolfman Jack. That would have been a great fight to see. Though I would have taken Thomas Hearns in that fight, Floyd had a strategy that was pretty much flawless and was, he felt he could have beat Thomas Hearns with a strategy that he was going to use. But that's just a whole different type of animal. Yeah, well, Floyd brought up a lot of different things. And I'm glad he brought it to Oscar De La Hoya the most. Instead of letting Oscar get away and all this, he put it right to Oscar's face live on ESPN. I love that. He went right back at him and threw it up in him like, look, everything you had, we own. We own it. Oscar De La Hoya didn't have the right team with him. He was Aram's boy. And then he got left out there and thought he was a giant in the field and didn't realize Al Heyman was the man. And he bit the hand that fed him. If he would have shut up, played ball, and stopped wearing dresses and stopped doing drugs and getting himself deluding the company, they would have worked together perfectly. He would have still been making money. Now he's out here scrambling, working in these dusty old places in there. What's up, Tone? Well, see, the thing is the sparring partners are going to tell you one thing, and then you're going to hear another. If you inside the camp or close to the camp, you will hear another. So I kind of want to be there when the situations go in a certain direction. But from what I'm being told, you know, right now everybody getting ready for the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. So that's where the mind state is right now. So everybody's like this is like a light week. You know, everybody getting some work in, but it's been pretty light. I don't think he's lost that much. It just pushes you. It takes you more to get back to that pinnacle. See, with Floyd, it was natural. It comes like this. When Floyd would come into a boxing training, it was like he never left. As soon as he come in on day one, boom, 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 he knocks everything out. This time was different. Like, he looked normal. See, that's the thing. You never can underestimate anybody. Conor is strong. He's young. He's athletic. See, people don't understand those things. He's very athletic. Those things that Floyd was fighting guys that they weren't that athletic. Granted, he don't have the boxing ability, but he fights. In the UFC, where like he gets punched in the face, he does pull counters. He knocked people off on pull counters. How many white guys you see do pull counters? He don't run in and attack people. That's not what Conor does. He doesn't have a wild style. See, that's what you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Dave. He don't have a wild style. Conor fights in a long range. He waits for you to try to hit him. He pulls back and he comes over the top with his left hand. He throws a counter punch every time. He shoots from bottom low, coming up high with his right hand, but he uses his right hand mostly to measure you. And whenever you try to strike him back, he jumps back and comes forward. He's a counter puncher. He's going to set traps, and that's what he done in the MMA. He set traps so that you could think something was open so he could jump back and counter you real quick. He has quick reflexes to do that. So to make sure you on point physically, like Floyd to see that coming. Like Floyd he can set his own traps, but to see that, you can't underestimate, you know. Conor's whole thing is to make Floyd uncomfortable. That's the only thing he brings to the table. He wants to make you feel very uncomfortable. When you get in the ring, his job is to make you feel that uncomfort. He wants to smother Floyd, push him on the ropes. That's the way he can get his punches off. He wants to learn how to cut the ring off. That's his problem. You can't learn footwork right away. He looked at it, and if you look at the scenario, everybody who was the best boxer in the world who fought Floyd, they got smoked 12 straight rounds. Now, what he wants to do is put on a show, do a little clowning acts, and throw some punches, try to make it look presentable. Then he wants to try to get Floyd on the ropes and rough him up, make Floyd uncomfortable. But what he doesn't realize is Floyd is the most comfortable person in the ring than anybody's ever been. He can adjust to any situation. Now, he has to make sure his body is physically ready for this. They want to punish Conor McGregor. They feel Floyd can bang Conor in the body and everything because they know that's the target. That's the game plan. Get to his body and dog him and show him he ain't ready. But what Conor has is grit. That's the thing that gets him. He will grit it out. He wants to go 12 rounds. If he had to rotate around the ring jabbing like this to try to get to 12, he can. But here's the difference. You're fighting an in-shape Floyd Mayweather. You were sparring against an out-of-shape Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie was landing shots on you that if Floyd landed on you, you probably wouldn't be able to take. Conor needs to get full extension on his punches to really hurt you. He's not really known as an in-close puncher. His punches come from distance. That's where he gets the extension of his power. Floyd is good at holding you with feints. Doing feints, certain shoulder roll feints, shooting his arm up. He'll do like this, pose, shoot, turn his shoulder to see you react. He'll throw a punch up like he's gonna block, then pow, shoot. And it hits like a laser. Your head be right there. You be like, why didn't he see that coming? Well, it was a feint that he threw beforehand. Boom! That he didn't see. And when that shot comes straight, he gets full extension on his punches. So when those right hands are coming, I don't know what he's going to do. I think a left hook is what's going to hurt Conor if Floyd throws it. I think Floyd's going to bring it to him. Hey, Tone, they got it at the movie theaters. I would go to see the fights at the movie theaters. That's where I'm going to be. I want to get down there to see the sparring and the training, though. I'll be watching it at the movie theaters, sir. No, not the check hook. Check hook ain't going to work this time. See, check hook work if somebody's aggressively coming for you. Then you check them, boom, and get out of the way. No, a right hand, left hook. That should be it. Straight right, pop! And then finish it with the left. That's what he was supposed to use on Manny Pacquiao, but he assumed Manny was going to bounce back. And he don't like to throw it because when you throw a right hand, left hook, you kind of like there for the counter. And then you exert a lot of energy throwing that punch. But can Floyd come back and beat a Keith Thurman or a Errol Spence Jr. in a fight? That would be a lot more difficult for him at this age. He still has the skill set to beat these guys, but physically, keep pushing himself back up to that level. Because his body's getting a lot sore after workouts, after sparring sections. He's kind of drained. He's getting hit with certain shots he probably shouldn't have never been hit with or wouldn't been hit with 5 years ago. Well, that's because when you fight a southpaw, the straight right hand is the weapon to use. They're open for that shot. That's why most people don't fight southpaw. They teach you not to fight southpaw because when you fight southpaw, you're putting your liver right, right closer to the opponent. People don't realize that. Southpaws, they're tricky to fight. No, really. If you throw a straight shot, you'll hit them right in the liver. Your liver would end a fight. A liver punch ends a fight. So you want to kind of have your liver away from your opponent. So even if you're a southpaw, you want your liver on this side. You do not want it like this. So even southpaw fighters like Oscar De La Hoya and Miguel Cotto, they were taught to fight as conventional fighters. A lot of people don't know that. Oscar De La Hoya is left-handed. Miguel Cotto is left-handed. That's why their left hand was always strong. They always had a strong jab. But their right hand didn't really have no power on it. They was just protecting their bodies by keeping their liver on this side. Why you think Floyd was able to destroy Zab Judah? He hit him with a left full right to the liver. Pow! And it changed the whole fight in the 4th round. And from that point on, Zab Judah was out the fight. He did the best he could, but he was out. I heard it in the stadium. It was like a gun blast. Pow! I'm like, oh my God. When he hit him with that shot, that was the sweetest move I ever seen him do. Oh yeah, that was the thing his father told him to do too. His father told him to hit him in the nuts. He whispered in his ear and told Zab to hit Floyd in the nut. Floyd got another mansion. I'm like, so it don't even really matter. The big boy mansion, you've seen it already. Like Floyd, Ben Thompson and stuff, we cool. Like, I ain't got no problem with Ben. I can get Ben Thompson on the phone right now from Fight Hype. See, that's the thing. We had our differences in the past. But as brothers in the business, I don't like to beef with no brothers. Do you understand that? Especially when people are going to be pushing for that to happen. We were able to have a conversation and get past everything. Because me and him really never really had a problem. Alright, y'all want to stick around? I can see if I can get them online. Hold up. This might knock y'all off for a second, but don't leave. I'll try to see if I can get them on. All right. Well, that's done. But overall, I felt the Floyd Mayweather interview was perfect. I'm glad he finally addressed Oscar De La Hoya. Well, my day, for me, is really just getting started. Normally, I start earlier than this, but I'm starting a little late today. But as we look at the totality of the interview, I felt that it was most candid, and he's not fighting anymore. Floyd is not coming back. I already know this is it. I'm serious. This is it for Floyd. He's not coming back. He won't fight no more. When a fighter knows, when they come back and they see that, like, man, it's really hard to get back to the level. You know, he can get there, but it's harder. The body is letting you know you can't do certain things like you used to do it. Once your body start telling you that and then you start accepting it because you know it's true, like, people could be in denial. No, man, I still got it. But when you know, yeah, you know. Yeah, he came back for this fight here. He was never going to come back and fight somebody like Errol. He know he's not the same fighter. I mean, I've seen it. I know that he can't do certain things like he used to. No matter how much in shape he is and the age, your body is still older. Your bones are older. You can look young. He's taking good care of himself by not drinking, by not smoking weed, not getting stupid tattoos, doing all these things to keep himself in that same mindset he needed to. Because all that stuff tear your body down. The difference between Floyd and Hopkins' longevity is, look at how much money Bernard Hopkins got and look at how much money and earned Floyd Mayweather has. When Floyd go down, he's holding box office records as well as boxing records. Bernard Hopkins was a criminal who went to jail early, came out and done well for himself. He decided, I'm never going back to prison. And he did everything right in his life to keep that from becoming a reality again. And as far as him, Floyd became his own boss. Bernard Hopkins is okay being a worker ant. He's got to hope and pray that Oscar feels generous. He's got to hope and pray that Oscar don't fall apart, because where's Bernard Hopkins going to go? Bernard Hopkins had a chance. He wanted to stay in Candyland. He wanted to work for Mr. Candy. That was his choice. Django came to save him and saying, look, we forgive you, but it's time to come on and leave Mr. Candyland. But no, he won't stay there even when the house is burning down. Bernard Hopkins going to stay there with Mr. Candy. It's the truth. He done did his own family dirty just to support Candyland. How you gonna rob your own nephew? You robbed your own nephew, ripping him off. I mean, Roy had skill too. People just didn't understand, but yes, he was more on. He fought off a rhythm, and his athletic ability was incredible. But once he lost his Floyd, I mean, he still had speed. His reflexes slowed. Once his reflexes slowed, he was not the same. No, Roy would drink, but Roy didn't do no drugs. Um, I've never seen Floyd sip champagne. Barry Bonds. Ken Griffey Jr. was great. Ken Griffey Jr. was great. He was a great baseball player, but his swing, he did great. But once it tore down his body, he couldn't see the ball like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was second level. No, there was never a Barry Bonds. Before all the steroids and home runs, Barry Bonds had won 3 baseball MVPs. He was player of the decade in the 90s to 2000. Barry Bonds is a second. He should be in the Hall of Fame right now. There shouldn't even been a question. Griffey, A-Rod took steroids and they were back in the league, no problem. But they villainized Sammy Sosa, they villainized Barry Bonds, and they villainized McGwire for a while. Next thing you know, McGwire comes out and said he apologized, and he's back on the team. But McGwire was never a great baseball player. He was always a 230, 240 hitter. But back then, and I'm like, how you going to penalize somebody for something that was completely legal at the time? They didn't do anything illegal. The man used to have Android pills in his locker room. And then Sammy Sosa's name wasn't even mentioned. It wasn't even mentioned in the ESPN crackdown. Sammy Sosa's name was not on the list. Sammy Sosa did not go to Congress and say, I did not take steroids like Palmeiro did. I did not take steroids. And they villainized Sammy and went after Sammy. And I'm like, Sammy never got busted. And they went after the Sam. But they act like everybody was hitting 50 home runs. Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs in 3 different seasons. Either you can hit or you can't hit. That's just it. And they saved baseball. That's the thanks they get. Yeah, they drove him crazy. The man came back and played for Texas. He came back and got his 600 home run on the Chicago Cubs. Because the Cubs organization did him wrong. And they mentally damaged Sammy Sosa. Because he did nothing but great for this city. When 9/11 happened, Sammy was the guy hitting home runs, walking around home plate with the flag in his hand. He had the American flag in his hand running around the bases. He was selling all the tickets, slamming Sammy Sosa. Sosa jerseys was selling out like hotcakes. The ball was being blasted 35, 55 feet in the air. Sammy was doing his thing. My thing is, everybody taking steroids, why ain't nobody hitting 60 home runs? They act like 60 home runs was easy to do. If it was so easy to do, why you got 2 people in baseball that's doing it? Either you could hit or you can't. That's all to it. And nobody talks about all the pitchers that was doing steroids. Nobody wants to talk about that. When Greg Maddux and Smoltz and all those guys, chicks dig the long ball. Yeah. All these pitchers that was taking steroids. Roger Clemens, all of them, yep. Once they protected Clemens. They tried to protect him, but he wouldn't go away. He kept coming back. If he had just retired like they told him to, they wouldn't have had this problem. So Barry Bonds was the most walked human being on the planet in the year he hit 70 plus home runs. That means out of every 2 at-bats, Barry Bonds hit a home run. That is unprecedented. I don't care. Steroids can't just do that. You just can't take roids and, okay, go hit home runs. Don't work that way. You got to have an eye from ball to strike ratio. Anything that came over the plate was leaving. He was so dangerous that year. He was walked. The people walked him in just to get 1 run with bases loaded. They would walk Barry Bonds. Just that they would take a 1 run then to give up a grand slam to Barry Bonds. That's how dangerous he was that season. What you talking about, Tom? Yeah, Albert Bell was something until the White Sox ruined him. Oh, why blacks got out of baseball? The blacks got out of baseball because they started making more money playing basketball and going to the NFL. And it's not pushed more, and people going more overseas to get players they play year round. Now, if you get a player that's black in the baseball, they come from down south. Like they played in the Mississippi, they played in Alabama, they went to school out in those areas where it's normally hot. But now people are getting more Dominicans. They're going to more Puerto Ricans, Cubans. That's why they lost the funding, Tone. They're not funding a lot of these sports because Major League Baseball. When I went to high school, we won the city championship twice, back-to-back years. City championships. We didn't win state, but we won the city twice. We had the best baseball team ever in this city's history. We were shutting everybody down. We had the best pitching staff. Our high school destroyed the city twice. We beat Roberto Clemente, which is nothing but Puerto Ricans and Cubans. We smoked them 2 years in a row in the city championships, and they always go. So if you beat Roberto Clemente, you are good. So we went back-to-back years winning the city championship. So now that we won the city championship, they would come and recruit players. They came and recruited, send them to AAA or AA. They'll come pick you up and you'll be signed on. We had players that went to the Mets. The Dodgers came and got a couple of players from our high school, straight out of high school. Straight out of high school was signed to AA, AAA. But now those fundings are not there for these programs because now they're not really taking people straight out of high school anymore when they can go down south and get these guys. Unless you're just a freaking nature player that they can't help but not look at. But the funding for those schools are going down because the schools are losing funding. If you look at how many schools they closed, just grammar schools and high school, all the programs are shut down. The city don't have the money for them no more. So they're definitely not finna throw it into the sports, the baseball, because most people now, it's all about the basketball program. That's where the sponsors and everything going to, basketball and football. Baseball has basically lost its contact. Exactly. Baseball has basically stayed behind by being America's pastime. They play the old organ, while all the other sports have evolved. Until today's time, you hear more Young Thug and all this other stuff, all these young people playing songs, and everybody's all excited. It connects to the younger audience more. If you ask they did a poll with the younger people, most younger people don't watch baseball. Unless they dad took them to the games. But it's very few that young people go to the games. They get drugged to the games, and then they be on their phone during the entire game. They're bored at a baseball game. So baseball is trying to come up with ways to make the game faster. Now they don't want you to throw the 4 pitches no more. They just give you the base if you're just going to intentionally walk somebody. No, see, they used to play baseball in the inner city. When you young, if you had a bat, you played softball, you played baseball, you played every sport. But now, most people like in the inner cities, they don't play baseball no more. They don't pitch no more. And we were some of the best baseball players there were. So it isn't like we got bad at baseball. Because if you see the blacks that's in there playing now, we still good. We just play other sports. Some people can play. They just choose baseball. Others do not. But it's just more now. The programs are more designed, unless you come from these cities that push baseball 24 hours a day. Most of the programs are designated for basketball, football. Right, because you'd rather get you a Cuban guy for cheap. They're going to come over. They already trained. Over there, they got professionals. They play in a league. My buddy, Lewis, he from Puerto Rico. He played on the Puerto Rico team with Manny Ramirez. They had all the star players out there when they were playing. He played on the Puerto Rican team. They used to play against the Dominican Republic team because they all play in a league. And I'm like, man, that's it. They used to play against Manny Ramirez, all these superstar players. I'm like, man, now they all in the league. So imagine then you playing on that team, and to play against those guys, you had to be great. Not just good, great. So they had all-star teams playing all together at once. That's how when those guys come here, they could play. But you look at guys and you know they're a freak of nature and they just great at baseball no matter what, like a Mike Trout. You knew from the high school World Series what he was all about. You knew that guy right there, him, from the high school, oh yeah, him, Mike Trout. You knew about him. You ain't need you don't need no paper, you don't need to scout nothing. That guy's a baseball player. No, I'm not old enough to know Benji. I see Canelo and Triple G ending in a draw. Yeah, but we'll talk about that as we get closer to it. But let me get out of here. I got to do some other stuff. I'll holler at y'all.